we will take the revision of the earlier part that we have studied in previous lecture, and then we will proceed with what the part which was remaining with the OSI model, right? So can anyone tell me how many models are there total? How many layers are there in OSI model?
7.
7 layers. Very good. How to remember those layers? Which technique I have discussed with you people? Can anyone? How to remember the name of all layers?
Please do not throw sauces and pizza away.
Very good, Gitanjali. Okay, so that is please do not throw sauces and pizza away. Okay, so P, then D is there, then N is there, then T is there, S is there, P is there, and A is there. Okay, so all these things you need to remember. As I already told you, the OSI model as well as the TCP model, IP model is the heart of computer network. Okay, or you can say the brain of computer network. Heart and brain both are there. Okay, so that is what. Without that particular understanding, the knowledge of OSI model or TCP IP model, you people didn't understand how exactly the computer network will work. Okay, so you just keep in mind these two models are very important, and the layers which are there inside these models are again very important. Okay, so the first layer that we have studied is presentation layer. So the long chunk of data, that means 010101 is carried by the presentation layer, that is the first layer of OSI model. Okay, and that particular model is working on guided media as well as unguided media. Guided media, through the cables your data is passed with reliability, and unguided media is the media through the air your data is passed with unreliability. That you need to remember. Second layer is what? The data transmission layer or data control, you can say data link layer. Okay, what is the role of that particular data link layer? The data which is there in the 0101 format is now converted into frame. Okay, so data link layer is carrying the frames. Second, data link layer is responsible for synchronization as well as flow control. Okay, the transmission of data from client to server, and those particular frames are having size of 8-bit or 16-bit. Okay, that also you need to remember. Again, data link layer is responsible to manage one of the address, and that address is called as hardware address or physical address, or that is also called as MAC address. Okay, so all these three names are given to that, that is hardware address, MAC address or physical address. Okay, your NIC card के अंदर जो ROM होता है, that ROM is carrying that particular address, that is the unique address worldwide. Okay, logical address is changing, but the physical address is not changing. Okay, only one address is manufactured throughout the world. एक ही address बनाया जाता है जो आपके NIC कार्ड के ऊपर लिखा जाता है. The same address will not be replicated in the manufacturing. Same address will not be replicated in the manufacturing. You just keep this in mind. वो replicate नहीं किया जाता है. Okay, so that is the data link layer address. Okay, that is the MAC address also. Then it also performs the error correction and error detection. Next one is the network layer. This is the third layer. Switch is working on data link layer. Router is working on network layer. Frames are formed at data link layer, but the packets are formed at network layer. Network layer take care of logical address. Okay, यानी आपने physical address जैसे देखा, वैसे ही आपके कंप्यूटर को और एक एड्रेस होता है, that is called as logical. That means every computer is carrying two addresses. One is physical address and another one is the लॉजिकल एड्रेस. ओके, ये दोनों एड्रेस का कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, फिजिकल एड्रेस एज वेल एज लॉजिकल एड्रेस, एंड बोथ दीज एड्रेसेस आर मैनेज्ड बाय डिफरेंट लेयर. सो लॉजिकल एड्रेस इज मैनेज्ड बाय द नेटवर्क लेयर. ओके, तो लॉजिकल एड्रेस कैन बी चेंज. ओके, लॉजिकल एड्रेस कैन बी डुप्लीकेटेड. लॉजिकल एड्रेस डुप्लीकेट भी हो सकता है. एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल इसका देता हूं और अपन आगे चलते हैं. See, some of the students are very naughty in the sense when they are in the college, they are trying to apply the logical address of server to their local systems. Okay, wherever they are seated in the lab, they are applying that particular server address to their local system. Then in that case, what happens? If you are assigning 10.1.32.1 IP address of server to any of the local system, then in that case, that particular data is routed through your system. Can you imagine? One IP address, two systems are there. एक IP address और दो system है. Okay, 10.1.32.1 लॉजिकल एड्रेस. तो सिस्टम का जो भी कुछ ट्रांसमिशन होगा, जो भी कुछ डेटा ट्रांसमिशन होगा, दैट इज थ्रू व्हाट? your local system, not with your server. Okay, so it's a request to everyone. कभी भी क्या करो आप लोग, जब भी कोई IP address assign करोगे, check whether that IP address is assigned to any of the prime system or not. If it is assigned to prime system, then avoid to apply to avoid to assign that particular address to your system. आपके system को वो address allocate करना avoid करो. Otherwise, there is an infinite loop and most of the networks will get stuck up. Okay, पूरा network stuck up हो जाता है, and then it's difficult to troubleshoot because let's say our college is having more than 500 systems, and any one of the system is carrying the IP address of server, then it's really difficult to identify which system is carrying the IP address of server and which system is carrying the normal addresses. Okay, so that you need to remember. Okay, so this is all about what the IP address which is managed by the network layer. Network layer is also taking care of router. Okay, what is the role of router? The role of router is to find out the optimized path. एक optimized path find करने का जो काम करता है, that is what the role of router. Okay, and router is working on the network layer. Again, remember, routers are routers ranging from 2500 to 1.2 lakh, 1.5 lakh also. Okay, and whatever router is there in our server room, that is the managed router. Okay, as I already told you last time, the difference between managed switch and unmanaged switches. So unmanaged switches are plug and play. You need to just give the power and they will start their functionality. And managed switches as well as managed routers are the routers. The routers are doing, or you people are able to configure those routers. Okay, which path your data should take, that you can define with the help of router. Okay, that I will show you while giving the practical demonstration. And managed switches and how to configure the managed switches and how to configure the routers, that is very well taught in the concept of CCNA. Okay, so CCNA is one of the Cisco Certified Network Administrator, is one of the certification where you will get all this knowledge. Okay, and that is provided by the Cisco. And once you crack that particular Cisco certification, then you are CCNA certified. That particular exam is having the weightage of 1000 marks, and you need to grab minimum 850 marks. And if you are able to crack that particular with 850 marks, then you are Cisco Certified Network Administrator. Okay, and through that, you people is able to learn your managed switches and managed routers also. Okay, so that is what one more certification is there in the market. Through that, you can understand the things. Okay, then the next layer that we have studied is transport layer. Okay, जो next layer अपन ने study किया था, that is transport layer. So in transport layer, what happened? As I already told you, the same functionality of data link layer is performed by what? Transport layer. In transport layer, end-to-end delivery of data is there. Two types of protocols are working with transport layer: TCP and UDP. TCP is connection oriented as well as reliable one, जिसपे आप भरोसा रख सकते हैं कि आपका data guaranteed सामने वाले को मिलेगा. UDP is the protocol that is not guaranteed one, because that particular data is transmitted through air. One of the example of UDP is what? Your mobile phones. Okay, sometime what happen? The ranges are there and sometime your packets are dropped. It will not get repeated. Then you are asking to the front person, ki please repeat, I am not getting your voice. Then and then that data will be repeated. But in case of connection oriented, what happen? The data is transmitted carefully without any retransmission. Okay, so in UDP, retransmission is there. In TCP, transmission is successfully done with proper acknowledgement. सामने वाला आपको acknowledge भी करेगा, I got the data. Okay, so that is the beauty of what? TCP. So these two protocols are working on transport layer. Again, transport layer is taking care of what? Congestion. One of the algorithm is working with transport layer is called as leaky bucket algorithm. What is this leaky bucket algorithm? The let's say bucket is there, and if you open the tip of water, okay, with the full speed, then your bucket will get overflow, okay, within a fraction of second. But if you that means slowly open the tip of water, then your bucket will slowly fill and water will not get overflow. So that type of algorithm is called as leaky bucket algorithm to avoid the congestion in the system. Okay, so this kind of functionality is performed by the transport layer, and transport layer is that means whatever packets are there on the network layer, those packets are now converted into segments. Okay, so transport layer will take care of what? The data in the form of segment, and that particular data is transmitted to session layer. Last time I already told you, session layer manages the login and logout time. Okay, so whatever email you are login, whatever email you are log out, similarly, you people are having more than 20 to 30 accounts. You people are frequently log into these particular accounts and log out to those accounts. So who will take care of login and log out? This session layer. Okay, so synchronization work, resynchronization work, login time, logout time, all these times are going to be managed by one of the layer, and that layer is session layer. Okay, and as I told you, in client server architecture, multiple clients are there, single server is there. Okay, so socket plays a great role. So socket क्या होता है? Socket is the technique through which you people are able to connect with the client and server. Okay, there are 2-3 assignments are there that I will teach you in the practical hours, but socket, that means there are two types of sockets are there. One is client side socket and another one is the server side socket. Okay, and there is a huge programming, there is a huge demand of programming for client and server side socket programming. If you are very well equipped with that particular technology, then you will easily grab the opportunities in the market. So this is all about what the session layer. The next layer is what? Presentation layer. Okay, can anyone tell me whatever data, that means whenever you are accessing the internet, the data is available or data is presented at which location, or from where that particular data is visible to you people? Can anyone tell me the answer? All of you know the browser? Yes, anyone? Students?
Yes, sir.
What is browser? What is the role of browser? Can you tell me the names of browser?
Chrome, Firefox.
Google Chrome,
Mozilla Firefox.
Mozilla Firefox is there, Google Chrome is there, right? All these are the browser. Very simple question I have asked you. But whatever data is presented on the back side and whatever data is available in front of you, that particular part is taken care by presentation layer. So presentation layer will present the data on browser. Remember, presentation layer will present the data on browser. It will take care of security also. Means data compression, data encryption, data decryption. What is encryption and decryption? Encryption is the technology in which your original data is converted into encrypted data. That means that is not understandable to the person, which is unauthorized one. Okay, and data decryption in the sense what? The data is available or data is understandable to that person only, that is the authorized. Okay, so that is the encryption and decryption technique. ये पुराने जमाने से चलते आ रही स्टूडेंट, encryption and decryption. सिर्फ पुराने जमाने में encryption decryption कैसे होता था? Let's say they are writing some content on the paper, okay, but that content are not visible to any one of them. Okay, and they are giving message to the front person ki when you that means keep this, but when you expose this particular document in the sunlight, you will be able to see whatever is written on that particular message board. So this is what the beauty of data encryption and decryption. Okay, तो उसको बोला था स्टेगनोग्राफी टेक्निक. तो स्टेगनोग्राफी टेक्निक के अंदर अलग अलग टेक्निक्स यूज होती थी. जब आप लोग उस पर्टिकुलर लेटर के ऊपर पानी डालोगे तो वो इंक वहां पे दिख के आएगी. ये पुरानी टेक्निक्स हुई. एंड नाउअडेज इन द न्यू टेक्निक्स, in image you are hiding the text, so that kind of techniques are there, and presentation layer will take care of all those techniques. Okay, so presenting the data on the browser is the responsibility of presentation layer. Okay, so many more technologies are there. UTF tech, that means Unicode technology, Manchester encoding. I will teach you all these techniques in further part. Okay, ये सब techniques आपको यहाँ पे आएगी. सिर्फ यहाँ पे समझ लो आप लोग कि whatever data is there, that data is presented by the presentation layer. Okay, so this is what the beauty of presentation layer. इसलिए मैंने starting में ही बोला कि OSI model और TCP/IP model is not a single one bundle of package. आप जब आपके ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इंस्टॉल करते हो, at the same time those bundles are installed. No, it is not the case like that. As I already told you, these layers are working on your switches also. These layers are working on your routers also. These layers are working on your browsers also. These layers are working on your cables also. Okay, so ऐसा नहीं है कि एक पैकेज इंस्टॉल कर लिया और सब काम हो गया. ये पूरा एक सेग्रीगेटेड पैकेज है जिसके थ्रू आपका पूरा नेटवर्किंग आपका क्या करता है, रोल प्ले करता है. दैट्स व्हाई कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क इज रियली वन ऑफ द फंटास्टिक सब्जेक्ट, एंड देयर आर ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटीज इफ यू वांट टू मेक योर करियर इन द कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क. ओके, नेक्स्ट एप्लीकेशन लेयर. the layer which is closest to user is simply called as application layer. Ardham dhyan mein rakho, the layer which is very close to user is called as application layer. That is the topmost layer. That is the topmost layer, and presentation layer is the bottommost layer. Okay, lowest layer. Transferring the file, okay, transferring the mail, maintaining the directories, maintaining the domains, all these kind of services are provided by application layer. These layer mainly hold the application program to act upon or receive or send the data. Simply we can say HTTP is also one of the protocol which is managed or which is the different type of services under the HTTP is provided by the application layer. Then mail transmission from sender to receiver, that particular service is also maintained by the application layer. One more service, that is remote login. Okay, as Skype is there, okay, or Zoom is there. So that type of applications are run with the help of what? Remote login application, and that is the part of telnet. Okay, so one of the protocol is there that will take care of remote login, and that is telnet. The long form of telnet is terminal network. Who is handling the mail services? SMTP. Okay, who is handling the directory? Domain name system. Who is handling the network resources, or who is sending or receiving the data through web browser? HTTP. So many more protocols are there, and these protocols are handled by application layer. Okay, so this is all about what? The presentation layer and application layer. So all of you just go through this animation also, so that the idea will be more and more clear, and then we will proceed with TCP IP model. Okay.
The OSI model. This layer establishes, manages, synchronizes, and terminates connection between the computers. It also sets up, coordinates, and terminates interactions and dialogues between communicating devices. It provides either half-duplex or full-duplex service. Session layer receives data from the presentation layer. It adds a header and synchronization bits to the data and passes data to the transport layer. At the receiver side, session layer receives data from the transport layer. It detaches header and synchronization bits from the data and passes data to the presentation layer. The responsibilities of the session layer are: dialogue control. It sets up sessions between devices. Control is exercised by using a token. Only the user that has the token can send data. Synchronization. It synchronizes the sessions. Synchronization bits are added for this purpose. Click Next to continue. Application layer. Presentation layer is the sixth layer of the OSI model. This layer deals with the syntax and semantics of the data exchanged between two devices. It transforms the data into a format that will be accepted by the application layer. Presentation layer receives data from application layer. It adds a header to the data and passes data to the session layer. At the receiver side, the presentation layer receives data from the session layer. It detaches the header from the data and passes data to the application layer. The responsibilities of the presentation layer are: translation. It handles interoperability between encoding systems used by different computer systems. Encryption. It adds security by encrypting data. At the receiver, it decrypts the data. Compression. It compresses data to save bandwidth. Click Next. Application layer is the seventh layer of the OSI model. It provides a means for the user to access information on the network using an application. It also supports services such as electronic mail, remote file access, and transfer and shared database management. The services provided by the application layer are: Network Virtual Terminal. Using this service, a user can log on to a computer that is remotely connected on the network. File Transfer, Access and Management, that is FTAM. Using this service, a user can access and manage files in a remote host. Mail services. Using this service, emails can be forwarded to another device. Message Handling System, that is MHS, is the OSI protocol used to transfer mail over the internet. Directory services. This service provides information about objects such as people, organizations, programs, and files. Click Next to continue.
Okay, so I will tell you all these features in detail also, because separate unit is there on application layer. Okay, and through that application layer, you come to know ki this is really one of the important layer and which is directly interfacing with the user. Okay, so this is what all about the application layer. Then what are the merits and demerits that we will discuss? As I already told you, this is the reference model. Okay, so before designing these protocols and all, this particular reference model is designed by the standards. Okay, IEEE standards already define this particular reference model. अब इसको reference model ही क्यों बोलते हैं? Because many more features, whatever features are launched later on in the network, that is not added with this reference model because this is deployed earlier. So how these particular features are covered? So one of the more layer is one of the new model is defined, that is TCP IP model. Okay, तो वहाँ पे क्या define किया गया था? TCP IP model define किया गया था, and that particular TCP IP model is having all these features which is very well integrated with the protocols. See here, the OSI model distinguishes between the services, interfaces, and protocol. Okay, so there is a distinguish things are there, as I already told you, as it is working on different things. So services are there, interfacing is there, one layer is interfacing with another layer, and protocols, separate protocols are there. Then SMTP, HTTP on application layer, TCP, UDP on transport layer. Then your routing protocols are there on network layer. Then your HDLC protocol, point-to-point protocols on data link layer. So every layers are having their own protocols. That's why it is distinguished model. These models, protocols of OSI model are very well hidden. Okay, so all these protocols, whenever you are installing the operating system at the same time, all these protocols are going to install in your system. Protocols can be replaced by the new protocols as the technology changes. Okay, so what are the merits of this OSI? As every day a lot of R&D is going on, new protocols are designed, new rules and regulations are defined. Those protocols are easily adapted this particular reference model. So this is what the beauty of OSI reference model. Support connection oriented as well as connectionless services. As I already told you, this is going to support both the things. One is connection oriented as well as connectionless. So this is all about what the merits of OSI model. So what are the drawbacks of this? OSI model was devised before the invention of protocol. As I already told you, in 1970, the first network was developed by US Defense Academy, that is ARPANET. Okay, ARPANET. Okay, and only 4 computers were going to communicate with each other. Okay, so at that time only this particular OSI model was designed, but at the same time many more protocols are not designed. So those protocols is the drawback. Okay, or only the basic protocols which are already incorporated with the OSI model are very less. So that is what one of the demerit or one of the limitation of OSI model. Later on, many more changes are done, but all changes are not equipped very well with the OSI model. Fitting of protocol is tedious job. As I already told you, protocols you can fit, but fitting those new protocols in the old model is really the tedious job, because whatever model is designed in 1970, that was designed as per the requirement at that time. But later on, if you are trying to fit many more protocols with the new technology, then it's somewhat difficult. Now, what is protocol, students? So protocols is the set of rules and regulation, because for every point there is a set of rules and regulation. It is just used as a reference model. As I already told you, it is just used as what? Reference model. Then the next model that we need to understand and study is what? TCP IP model. Remember, students, this is one of the most important model, as well as this is really a fantastic model which is used nowadays for connectionless systems. Okay, and as you already know, our world is now moving towards connectionless system, because kitna wiring karenge na, how to make how many complex wiring you people are able to make. So that particular part is going to be handled by the TCP IP model. TCP IP model is far better than, because very less layers are there, but all functionalities are very well performed by the TCP/IP model layers, which are there, which layers, whatever layers are there in OSI model, but those layers are sandwich, or those layers are club with one another. So OSI model is having seven layers, and TCP/IP model is having only 4 layers. Okay, see, TCP/IP model is a transmission control protocol, an internet protocol, was developed by the Department of Defense Project and Research Agency. Okay, ARPA, later it is called as DARPA. Okay, so उसको बाद में क्या बोला गया, DARPA बोला गया. Okay, so D stand for defense. Okay, so that particular project was developed by TCP/IP. उन्होंने डेवलप किया, OSI भी उन्होंने डेवलप किया था, और TCP/IP भी उन्होंने डेवलप किया. Okay, that is the US Defense Academy Institute is there. So what are the features of TCP/IP reference model? See, support the flexible architecture. Adding more machines to a network was very easy. TCP/IP के अंदर flexibility है, scalability है, reliability. The network was robust and connection remain intact until the source and destination machines are functioning. Okay, very robust architecture there, and connection remain intact. अंदर से disconnect नहीं होता है. The overall idea was to allow one application on one computer to talk to the another application running on the different computer. See, how many layers are there? Only 4 layers. Which layers are there? Host to network, internet layer, transport layer, and application layer. So this is the TCP/IP reference model. Total 7 layers are there in OSI. Total 4 layers are there in TCP/IP. Always remember. Okay. Then what is host to network layer? Host to network is the lowest layer. जैसे आपका physical layer, data link layer था ना वहाँ पे, वैसे ही host to network layer. What is host? Any local computer or any individual system is called as host. Always remember. Okay, in technical language, any individual system or any standalone system in client server architecture or in peer-to-peer architecture is simply called as host. Protocol is used to connect to host so that packets can be sent over it. Okay, so whatever network are there or whatever reference model is there, many more protocols are working there. Protocols is what? The set of rules and regulation. Protocol को set of rules and regulation बोला जाता है. It varies from host to host and network to network. वो vary होता है एक host से दूसरे host तक और एक network से दूसरे network तक. Okay, so this is what? Host to network layer. Okay, so this is what? Layer 1. Then अभी आप बोलो कि सर लेयर 1 इसको होस्ट टू नेटवर्क क्यों दिया? रिमेंबर, होस्ट टू नेटवर्क क्यों दिया? देखिए, नेटवर्क इज द थर्ड लेयर इन OSI मॉडल, बट इन TCP/IP मॉडल, ओके, और इन OSI मॉडल, which two layer come before that? Physical layer and data link layer. Remember, TCP/IP मॉडल में फिजिकल लेयर और डेटा लिंक लेयर ये दोनों को क्लब किया गया है. Both these layers are integrated with each other, and that particular club layer is transmitting data to network layer. तो आपको यहाँ पे ध्यान में आएगा, डायरेक्टली होस्ट से डेटा नेटवर्क लेयर पे जा रहा है. ओके, दैट मींस प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर और डेटा लिंक लेयर इन दोनों का मर्जिंग किया हुआ है. तो दिस इज लेयर 1. देन नेक्स्ट, लेयर 2 इज इंटरनेट लेयर. Selection of packet switching. Student, there are 3 types of packet switching techniques are there. Packet switching यानी क्या? कंप्यूटर जब आपके डेटा यानी आपका जो डेटा रहता है वो एक कंप्यूटर से दूसरे कंप्यूटर के ऊपर जब जंप करता है, सो दैट टाइप ऑफ स्विचिंग इज कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? पैकेट स्विचिंग. सॉरी, सो दैट टाइप ऑफ स्विचिंग इज कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? पैकेट स्विचिंग. सो देयर आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ स्विचिंग्स आर देयर. वन इज सर्किट स्विचिंग, सेकंड वन इज द मैसेज स्विचिंग, एंड थर्ड वन इज द पैकेट स्विचिंग. अभी मैसेज स्विचिंग यानी क्या? आप लोग जो मैसेंजर यूज करते हो ना, SMS जो आता है जाता है, तो वो टाइप का जो स्विचिंग होता है उसको मैसेज स्विचिंग बोलते हैं. इसका एक पूरा एक लेक्चर मैं आपका लूंगा इसके ऊपर, द टाइप्स ऑफ स्विचिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज. सो 3 स्विचिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज आर देयर दैट आई विल टीच यू लेटर ऑन. ओके, सो सर्किट स्विचिंग, पैकेट स्विचिंग एंड message switching. Okay, so all these techniques are there that is carried out by internet layer. This layer hold the whole architecture together. पूरे आर्किटेक्चर को यानी चारों लेयर को बाइंड करके रखने का काम कौन करता है? इंटरनेट लेयर करता है. इट हेल्प्स द पैकेट टू ट्रैवल इंडिपेंडेंटली टू डेस्टिनेशन. मैंने जैसे आपको बताया कि देखिए, लेट्स से Ramesh want to send data to Suresh. Okay, so Ramesh is sending that particular data individually or independently to Suresh. How? Because Ramesh is having their own IP architecture, and Suresh is also having their own IP architecture. So through that, Ramesh is sending the message to Suresh with it, that means with individual architecture. Both are working independently. So there is no dependency in that particular system. That means यहाँ पे multiple clients are sending or receiving the data independently, and multiple clients are able to deliver that particular data independently to the destination. The order in which the packets are received is different from the order in which they send. Always remember in TCP/IP model आप बोलोगे कि सर डेटा जो होता है वो तो सीक्वेंस में जाना चाहिए. Let's say client A want to send the data to B. Let's say मैं सॉन्ग गा रहा हूँ, ओके, और उस सॉन्ग के अंदर के पैराग्राफ ऊपर नीचे अगर चले गए तो सॉन्ग का मीनिंग प्रॉपर निकलेगा क्या? नहीं निकलेगा. बट ऑलवेज रिमेंबर whenever this layer is sending the data of song, okay, in a different sequence, but when the receiver is receiving that particular data is delivered in sequence only. ओके भले आप सीक्वेंस सेंडर से भेजते हो ऊपर नीचे भेजो, लेकिन जब वो डेटा रिसीवर को मिलेगा तब वो डेटा प्रॉपर सीक्वेंस में ही मिलेगा. So this is what the beauty of internet layer, and this layer is used, that means one of the protocol is used in this layer, that is called as internet protocol. Okay, then next layer is transport layer. Almost all same work is done by the transport layer which was there in the OSI model. OSI में जैसे उसने काम किया था सेगमेंट बनाना, डेटा डिलीवर्ड करना, ओके, एंड दैट एंड टू एंड डेटा डिलीवर्ड करना, सीक्वेंस मेंटेन करना, as well as the connection oriented and connectionless service. All those functionality are almost same in the transport layer also. And the last layer is what? Your application layer. This layer is also performing same as it was performed in OSI model. The functionality of application layer as well as the functionality of transport layer is almost same as that was there in the OSI model. Okay, so then what is the beauty of this OSI model? अब ये दोनों मॉडल मैंने आपको सिखाया है, OSI भी और नेटवर्क लेयर भी. So how many layers are there in OSI model, students? How many layers are there in the model?
7.